Hey there, party people. What's going on? It's Seth. It's 10 o'clock on Wednesday night, which means it's time for the happy hour with Seth. It's funny. I'm looking around the room and how I told you that there's constant changes. It is so different from last Wednesday. But tonight we have a great show. Spring has sprung. Talk a little bit about that. And we have, of course, online dating. I'm not going to say mishaps, adventures, some storage truths. And tonight we have Jon Blayne, who is the host of a great podcast, and they're now syndicated, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. But sports entertainment, it's huge, and uh, when I got out of college 1,000 years ago, I had interviewed with WWF at the time, and I was offered a sales position, but I felt like it was, you know, it was wrestling. It was small. I interviewed with Vince McMahon. He was nice. He was very cool, but clearly I made the wrong choice because I turned down the job offer and went to sell men's accessories with Swank, Pierre Cardin. So, funny thing is that at the time, a recent college graduate, I bought a bunch of copies of Swank magazine, which is like a low level. It was a low level nudie magazine, porno magazine. I don't know what you call it. I called it Swank Magazine. I took my business card and stapled it to the magazine and sent it out to like everyone who I was friends with from college, because this way, they can be impressed that I work at Swank, even though it was a different Swank. I'm moving the mic stand because, again, I feel like there's shadows. It could just be me. I'm sure there's not, or maybe there is. Who knows? The Mets are on a tear, so I'm very happy, and that makes the chairs fit in even better. Um, but I'm psyched for tonight. I made notes so we can cruise through, and this way I don't mess everything up, and I don't forget to name the sponsors. However, the things get all stuck together. The cards. Tinder twists and turns and wacky matches is what I want to call that. Oh my God, insane. But like I said, spring has sprung. The beauty of living on Long Island is that you can get heat stroke and frostbite all on the same day, because it's like the temperature fluctuates. It's 80 degrees and then 50 degrees. And my mom used to say, that's what makes people get sick. I think germs are what makes people get sick, but you never question your mom. My mom was a saint. So, in honor, here's a toast to all the moms out there. And yes, I'm using the Nescafe World mug that my mother had a zillion of. Delicious. I'm still on that peach kick. High noon, yeah. High noon peach vodka seltzer. So, because I need to get more fruits and vegetables, um, and that will help. So now I'm super conscious every time I either say or there's any kind of pause, but I still do it. You see, like the I'm not going to say the raw Seth. Yeah, I will say the raw Seth. I'm always the raw Seth. But so because the weather's been so great, we've been grilling every night, grilling like maniacs. And I actually posted a couple of grill videos on Facebook because I look like I'm some kind of I'm chef of the future. I look like I know what I'm doing. I have no clue, and I kinda fly by the seat of my pants. The beauty of Google is you just say like, "Hey," and I don't wanna say her name, Alexa, because she's always listening, um, but she you say, "Hey," computer chick or whatever you call her, "What, how do I cook a porterhouse steak on a Blackstone grill?" And she comes back lovely. She's lovely, and she seems to know everything. So, but in a positive way, not like, an ex-girlfriend or an ex-wife. She knows everything to help you, to enhance your life. So that's pretty awesome. But with the grilling, I did there was a small grease fire. There was a small grease fire, and I'm actually it's weird that all of the kids, all my siblings and myself really love to grill, but I think it's because there are technological advancements. When we grilled, growing up, when my father grilled growing up, it was a whole procedure, and it was the coals and, you know, fanning the fire and making sure it was perfect. And, it was great because you have burgers and hot dogs and corn and whatever, and, it just was very enjoyable with the exception of you didn't know what time was eating because it had this whole process to make it perfect. My dad was a perfectionist, and, so he had his system, and his system is the system. The catch was that, at by that point, with all the barbecues that are, uh, fond recollections, it was just myself and Marcy still home. So, we couldn't go out until the very last embers of the fucking coal were out. We couldn't leave the house on a beautiful summer night until the coals and you can't put water on them because we used the same coal seemingly forever. That fucking bag of coal would last, I don't even know how long. I can't even guess how long. But it was, like, painful because my friends would come over and be like, "Come on, let's go. Nothing's gonna happen. Tell him that it was out." And I said, "Well, what if he comes down and the fucking thing is lit? Then he knows it wasn't out." And my friends were like, "No, just it's not gonna be lit." But, there was a respect that kids back then had for their parents. There was also a tremendous fear. So, there was no fucking way that I was gonna go out before the very last of the embers were out. So, given that fact, you would think that barbecuing would suck, but we all do it and we all love it. So, but I think it's because of the technological advancements. Um, it's now you go out to the grill and it's like, yeah, if I tell you that I oil this fucking grill top and I have this oil season spray shit that anything that Blackstone says I need, well, they're the experts, so I get it. So I get it. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I'll order this thing. Oh, I'll order that thing." But it's you could probably use like Pam or something simple. So before we bring John on, I do want to, talk about Match and Tinder. There's a lot there's a lot to talk about. Um, I feel like for entertainment purposes, I gotta stick with this. And date 1 is what we'll call, the first date of the week. She was lovely, lovely, a lovely young Filipina, lovely. Um, she was her personality was very vibrant, great voice, great accent. She's been here forever, been here like 15 years, and her photos were beautiful, like, she was beautiful. She's still beautiful, but back when these photos were actually taken 12, 15 years ago, very hot. Um, they were not up-to-date photos. We sit down in the restaurant, and her seriously, one of her first fucking questions, she was like, "What meds are you on?" And what meds am I on? What does that even mean? You know, my the question nagging at me is, how's this date gonna go? Do we I know we've talked a lot, but we've only talked for about a week. But talking a lot, like, I go days without speaking to anyone, so I feel like talking a lot to someone is it's almost like dates without being with them. You're on the phone, you're on FaceTime, uh, all that shit. You're finding out, you're learning about them. Why didn't she ask me about my fucking meds, like, over the phone or over FaceTime? What why would you like, when we sit down, that's the question on her mind? The question on my mind is, you know, do we get naked after dinner? Uh, you know, are we going back to your place? Are we gonna, run through Washington Square Park? Like, that's what's on my mind. Is there Mr. Softy driving around at night? Those are the important questions. What meds am I on? So I said, I told her, I don't give a shit. I said, I'm on sertraline, which is like generic. I don't want to say the wrong drug. Maybe it's not Xanax. Maybe Zoloft. I don't know. Sertraline. Look it up. Who gives a shit? I'm on cetrizine for this beak, keeps the air flowing. Uh, Also Flonase and Lipitor, whatever the generic Lipitor is. And and she said, "Oh, do you have a cholesterol problem?" And I'm thinking, your fucking pictures are 15 years old. Let's address that before we address what medication I'm on. I'm just reaching for an eye wipe. I know it's shocking. So I was very taken back by the meds question. Um, but and I was like, she kept going back to it. She's like, "Well, as far as meds." So I said, "I don't I'll show you." The way it started was she said, "Do you carry a list of your prescriptions?" My mom, should rest in peace, carried a list of prescriptions. She was fucking 89. I don't think I need to carry a list of prescriptions. So I said, "No, no, I don't. I know them by heart. There's three." So she again asked me about the drugs, and I said, "Well, as the night goes on, I might be on Flonase. There are things I might be on. Before I go to sleep, I might be on Lunesta. I also might be on you." I thought that was clever. She gave me the the amused laugh. Um, she did tell me I was very handsy. Uh, and I'm deaf. So she said, "You're very handsy." And I thought she said, "You're very handsome." So I'm like, "Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way." But she said, "You're very handsy." I was rubbing her thigh under the table. "You're very handsy." And I said, "Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way." So she's probably thinking, like, did I see him on The Catch a Predator? Like, that doesn't go with what she said, or it does go with what she said, and that's even, you know, more fucked up. But she just was lovely. Uh, but after she said, "No, no, handsy," and I'm thinking, "Mm, I'm not doing that. I'm doing a nice little gentle thigh rub." Um, So I just was very taken back. She asked me about life insurance. I said, "Honey, we're out to dinner. This is a first fucking date. Don't worry about life insurance. I have 2 kids, they get it. They get it." And I also, am irresponsible, so I have drums that are worth more than my life insurance. Kids get them too, except for the Radio King gets buried with me. So, so we finish eating. She had a couple of drinks. I had 1 drink, and I had, like, 12 seltzers. This restaurant charged for each seltzer, so when she went to the bathroom, I said to the waitress, "Hey, not to be a dick, but if you can get rid of some of these seltzers, I'll just add that money to your tip." And boom, went down to 1 seltzer. So, so it worked. We finish eating, we go out, I get the car, and I said, do you want me to drive you home?" She's like, "No, I live right here." And gives like a vague, what is she? A, a street person? What is, "I live right here." Okay. But I want to make sure you're safe because people saw us in the restaurant. If anything happens, they'll be like, "Oh, she was with an elderly Jewish guy who's handsy." So I don't want to be blamed if anything happens. And it's a simple question. "Do you want me to drive you home?" She says, "No. Listen, text me when you get home." And she like leans in towards me, and I give her my cheek, and I kissed her on the cheek, like, mwah, like I do to a fucking stranger. So she says, "Oh, really? The cheek?" So I said, "Well, you said I'm fucking handsy. I'm handsy. I would have preferred handsome." So she says, "You give me the cheek?" I said, "I don't want to push. I don't want to push." With that, she literally pushes me against the Escalade, sticks her tongue down my throat, and this was odd. She grabs my junk like we're in a mafia movie and I owe her money. She grabbed me, and I said, "Oh," like, "Hey, easy, lady, easy, lady." Um, so personally, I don't say, "Oh, don't do that," or I don't say anything when someone touches me, my swimsuit area. I'm like, whatever." But it was odd. It was a very odd date. Uh, I texted her when I got home. She called me. We bullshit a little bit. "When's the next date?" So I said, "Oh, we'll go out probably during the week, maybe Thursday." The night after that date with her, I went out with a lady from Tinder who is an aerobics instructor. This girl had a body that was so muscular and so firm. So then the whole time I'm thinking I must look like a fat shit next to her, like a big fat, and people probably think that I'm her uncle or father. She was lovely, but and I felt very safe. We went out in Brooklyn. I felt so fucking safe. This girl uh, is a tough tough chick. I'm glancing down at the cards. I don't know what we. But the thing with the young fitness instructor, and we'll call her Nancy, mostly because her name is Nancy. She says to me, "I'm looking to get married." And I said, "Oh, I'm looking to get laid." And she laughed and she said, "No, I'm seriously looking to get married." And I said, "Yeah, I guess everyone's kind of looking to get married." And she said, "No, I'm looking to get married like within a year and then have a couple of kids, get a dog, get a house in a year." I just fucking met you, honey. in a year. So there are red flags popping up all over the place. She has a ton of clients, both male and female. And every time she said client, she would say, with my personal training. And I'm like, yeah, no, I, whatever. But that also was a red flag. Tons of red flags. So obviously, we went out a second time because that's what you do. Crazy. She was, she is a lot of fun, but crazy. And I have no intention of getting married to a crazy person because then there would be two crazy people. She was tough. She was strong. I was thinking I could wrestle her. How's that for a segue? Bobby, is that a segue? I could wrestle her. Speaking of wrestling, sports entertainment, there is there are podcasts for everything, for everything. Um, Jon Blayne hosts an amazing podcast, and I sent Bobby a very crude picture of um, the his Facebook page. I'm having like a senior moment of his Facebook page, and it's just uh, a great podcast. But it's no surprise that Around the Ropes is now it's the first like nationally syndicated podcast, and he gets people on. I'm like, how does he get these people on? But he also gets invited to do like commentary at live events, and I think that's very cool. John worked for me for quite a while, and it's just so great to see the success he's had with this. So if there was an audience like here, I would say, let's give it up a nice round of applause. And I would have John come out and come on. And so uh, this way, it would be like, I have buttons I could push. I'm terrified of them. Terrified of them. So, but John, oh, I see something happen.
John is not with us yet.
Oh no.
No,
Okay.
not yet.
So he will be here, and that allows me to jump into my storage unit deal. So I had two units that I really, really wanted. One you'll see why instantly. Both of them you'll probably see why. But I had a couple of bad units this week. One appeared to have a shitload of like baseball cards and comics, and it was all too new to be worth anything. So that kind of sucks. But you have to look at the big picture and average it out and say, okay, you win some, you lose some. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Trying to think of all Sean Riley's cliches. It's a marathon, not a sprint. It's a long race. We got a lot. We have a long way to go. Oh, that was a bad shadow. We have a long way to go. So, Bobby, if you could put up the pictures of the four, the set of four. I don't even remember which was which. I see a lot of units during the week. It's real tough to keep track. Uh, and again, it's you have to go with the averages, but this you will see why I bid on this. Um, those are cars. Those are automobiles. Okay, it's a an Escalade, the pickup truck one, a Lexus, and a Benz. And surprisingly, it's not going for a ton of money. Now, the rub is you know nothing about these cars. Do they have engines? Do they run? You don't know. So you have to be super cautious when you bid on anything, because really you're bidding on what you see. So if it is if you see boxes of baseball cards, you're not seeing boxes of baseball cards, you're seeing boxes from baseball cards. And I've had it where I said, "Oh, look at that, Don Russ baseball cards." There was a unit that I had that had, I'm trying to remember what the boxes said. They either said uh, Gibson or Gibson guitars, but they looked like shipping boxes for guitars. And so I said, "Holy shit, this unit is filled with guitars." Incorrect. It was filled uh, with a lot of personal photos in one of the guitar boxes, and the other two guitar boxes were empty. So you can only bid on what you see. Next week I have live auctions, and I'm going to attempt to record them, but I don't know if I'll be able to. I don't think I'll be successful. They're really strict on that. The other unit, and I try to stay very local because it's a pain in the ass to go to them and then spend a day and clean out. The other unit you're going to see, so obviously the first thing that caught my eye is the drums. Um, I saw the drums were jumping out at me. They're gold, they're bright, probably made in Japan. However, when you see a bunch of accessories, and if you see drums of other colors, then you say, "Oh, look at that! There's more than one set." The mounting system on the burgundy ones is definitely something that caught my attention. There are also drum cases in there, so I said, "Okay, you know, I'll go whatever. I'll go a grand." There were cymbals, there a lot of stuff visible, and really, you can only bid on what you can see. So I don't need another air conditioner for a window. I don't need, another pack and play. If anyone needs a pack and play for their kids or their grandkids, just let me know. You can come pick it up in Seaford. I have a handful of them. And what I run into with all the kids stuff, I don't feel right to sell it. I don't feel, or I'll sell it at ridiculous minimal, a little kid tricycle. Give me $20. I don't know. Those power wheels, uh, the power wheels are tough because, like, I fit in them, but I'm too heavy. So I would drive those power wheels around because I'm that kind of guy. I'm sporty, but I'm also fat. So I don't think they're made for people who weigh 187 pounds. I think they're made for people who are children, little people, not little people, uh, young children. That's who drives Power Wheels. But so that stuff, you know, it's almost giving it away. I again had a unit this week that the woman was lovely. She fell on hard times, and I pretty much gave her. I took what I wanted from the unit. I took a huge mirror. I took this whole house is going to be filled with mirrors. I took a very cool picture for Club 4006. There was a jukebox, not a huge one, but a nice sized jukebox. I took that. You can load in, I don't remember if it's 20 or 40 CDs, um, which they should be able to now with MP3s and with digital music. You should be able to make a jukebox that's this fucking big, and it should hold like a million songs. I'm not technologically savvy, but that's my take on it. So that second unit, as you get closer to the end of the auction, when you bid if there's 2 minutes left, 2 minutes or less, and you bid, it adds 5 minutes to the auction. So the last 2 minutes, and I've said this before, it's like a football game because it could take an hour. It could take however fucking long it takes. It's all up to the bids. And part of you wants to win. You get so caught up in the bidding, you're like, oh, I'm going to fucking win this, even though I'm bidding more than what it's worth. But you're not thinking rationally, you're thinking of winning. So that's why uh, I don't like to get caught up. I don't like to get caught up. And but you do. I tapped out on that unit at, I want to say 1200, either 12 or 1250. The unit's up to like $1,800. So unless there's something in there that's fucking gold, it's not worth it. I think I told you last week that sneaker unit, I wound up, every one of the guy's suit jackets had cash, 20s, 20s and 10s. I was going to say 30s. So I got back what I paid for the unit in just his cash. Um, I got a unit that had stamps that said Equifax with some bullshit address and Wells Fargo. And there were blank credit card, like plastic credit cards, and a credit card imprinting machine. And there were about 9 or 10 phones, cellular phones, uh, all kinds of crazy laser printer like you would have, like the Pentagon has. It it was so much shit. And the guy, it makes you question, is he in the joint? Is he, he was up to no good. There was uh there was a lot of shitty pot marijuana in the unit, but terrible. I stunk when I left there. I stunk. And you don't want to bring this stuff home because you don't know what's in this. I glove up. Um, I first I put on rubber gloves, then I put on whatever, not rubber, latex gloves, and then work gloves because it's nasty. It's nasty. And again, I watched, I DVR'd like 6 or 7 episodes of Storage Wars this week, and I watched them, and it was such bullshit because not that they glamorize it, maybe they do, maybe that, whatever, they hype it like it's, you're going to find El Chapo's storage locker or, you know, the Hitler gold train or whatever. You're not. You are definitely not. And if you do, God bless you. But I don't think you will, uh, because someone would have found that shit already. It's like Oak Island. Come on, Oak Island. They're still looking for that shit, and it's been how long? It's been how long? I did get a couple of. One unit had a bunch of Elvis shit in it. Was I'm drawing J.D. Fontana, his drummer for years, before Ronnie Tutt, who I've had the good fortune of meeting, and he's great, nice guy, nice guy. And that's how every rock star should be. You should be a fucking great guy because you have life by the balls. You're doing what other people dream of. You're living the dream, and you're playing music. Look, I've been out on tour. It's awesome. It's awesome. Um, and there's a movie called Hired Gun, and I highly suggest it for everyone, because You see these guys on stage and you're like, wow, wow, this guy is, you know, amazing. And he's probably got the greatest lifestyle. He's a hired gun. He's not, you know, one of the guys from Cheap Trick or Aerosmith, or he's a hired gun. So he's getting paid uh, not nearly what the other people get. I met people at out with the Irish festivals when we were playing the Irish festivals, headlining Irish bands, and we were making more money than them. Um, so that doesn't make sense. However, it's reality. So this movie Hired Gun is really a good watch. A good watch. It's no aristocrats, but I don't want to sip like on the camera, but I don't want to sip off the camera. These are difficult decisions. Difficult decisions. Um, we did get. I'm looking around the room. There's so much new stuff. So much new stuff, and that also is a not a pitfall of the auctions of the storage units, but obviously you buy what you're interested in. Um, and I don't have a retail store to sell all this shit. So if anyone needs furniture, hit me up. Great prices. Um, I don't have a retail store. So the main thing I bid on is units that have something that I want. And unfortunately, there's a lot of shit that catches my eye. Um, I'm bidding now on a unit with two pinball machines, one of which is a Charlie's Angels pinball machine. I never even heard of that, but it's Charlie's Angels. And I'm a dude in my 50s. So obviously I must have it. I must. I must have it. I have a whole bunch of sports entertainment stuff that I'm not going to use because we're going to reschedule John for, and I hope he's okay because I know that there was his podcast last night. I believe was a repeat. I don't think that they did the actual podcast. So I'm going to save all of this stuff because it actually would be a great night to have him on. There is a Long Island guy, a Long Island uh, young man. Not so well. He's pretty young, but he is all of a sudden a rising star, and it's very funny because the overnight success. He's been doing this for fucking 15 years, 16 years, and now everyone's like, "Oh, he's an overnight success." Um, so I did speak with him, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be on in a couple of weeks. So maybe that would be the best time to have John on because he knows a lot more about this than I do. I like the female wrestlers since I'm a little kid. I like that. I like, it's not my thing. Maybe it is my thing. I don't know. I do want to mention the sponsors. So we're going to have a little commercial break, but it'll be like a live commercial break. And I believe that the handsome and attractive Larry Scott is the first sponsor to mention. Larry, I think I said it last week. He has a purple sparkle DW kit, and every time I see a picture of it, it's screaming my name, Seth, Seth, make me yours. Um, I don't need another drum set yet. I feel like I might need this drum set. So Larry Scott Pro Gear is his page. It's not just drums. He has guitars, amps, tons of microphones. I got a mic from him that's in electro voice that is arguably the best microphone I ever used. I would like to sit up, but then I'm going to have to move the mic again. So I'm going to stay in this position. I think I'm leaning in like it's a secret, like I'm going to kiss you. Um, so Larry has everything. Uh, he you could get a Corvette from him, and that's a callback to something he posted that some asshole was giving him a hard time. But there's a lot of assholes in the world. But Larry has great gear, great pricing, and he's a great guy. So you know, anything you need, look for Larry. Look for the Union label and look for Larry. Go Granny Racing. Her Oh, damn it. Stan had told me what those fucking chariot things are called. Surrey. I believe it's a Surrey. I hope it's a Surrey. But she owns horses with harness racing. And she just had a baby. She didn't just have a baby. Her horse just had a baby. I saw the video. It is so fucking cool. It's disturbing, but it's cool. I I was there for both of my children's childbirths, and it's the miracle of childbirth. It's not attractive. It's not attractive, but you're bringing life. I am the giver of life. You're bringing a life into this world. So that's probably what the horse felt like. She had a horse come out of her lady parts. Pretty impressive, I think. So Go Granny Racing, and I'm going to have her on the show, and we'll watch the video together. I just want to show the video, so we'll watch that together. Of course, life uh, is more enjoyable with good food, and what's better than All American Burger? Uh, it's delicious. It is delicious, All American Burger. There it is. Yeah. So they you go there, you get a double, you're all set. And the best part, well, not the best part. The best part's the food, but you can walk right across the parking lot to Marshall's Ice Cream Bar, and I go chocolate vanilla twist. Stan got spumoni the other day, and I was shocked, but he's who the fuck eats spumoni? I've never even, I mean, I've heard of it, but I've never even seen it. And he said it was terrific. Spumoni. Apparently, people eat it because they sell it. I don't eat it because who the fuck eats spumoni? Stan. Um, he's like the king of hard salami. He loves the hard salami. Insert your own joke here. Uh, I do have a lot of chins. I have more chins than a Flushing phone book. So keep that in mind. But I also want to say that Ovation Entertainment, Steve Wurtzel, uh, he's gotten us some kick-ass gigs with the Gypsy Felons. I'm going to give you some upcoming Gypsy Felon dates. So grab a pen, pencil, crayon, because Gypsy Felons 5/3, that's this weekend. It's just the trio. I'll be there, but I will not be on stage. Or maybe I will. Maybe I'll get up there and sing or tinkle on the ivories. Yeah, think about that. So that's at Bunker Hill Tap Room, right here on Wantagh Avenue, 1912 Wantagh Avenue. 1912, ironically, is the year that my ex-wife was born. Um, On the 17th is the Lion's Den. That's right in West Islip. Hop, skip, and a jump, right down the block. Um, June 7th. June 7th is we're going to be at Schnitzel House in Bay Ridge. Um, that just reminded me of a great, great. I just blew it by saying a great joke. So, uh, Schnitzel House. Um, oh, my tissues are across the room. That's terrible. Um, so I was going to say we should play. Well, you're going to have to deal with my masculine body for a second. I hope you can still hear me. Terrible. Here it is. You ready for me? What a mess. I'm a mess, people. Okay. Schnitzel House in Bay Ridge. Um, Schnitzel House. Here's my mic. I want to play a. You ever hear a German knock knock joke? Knock knock. Who's there? I will ask the questions. See that? Um, the Lion's Den. I said that. Schnitzel House. Then on 7/5, the Lindenhurst Gazebo. August 9th, Toomey's Tavern. August 16th, Repeal 18 in Huntington. And then I have a bunch in September, October, November, but I'm not telling you them yet. So, I dropped my tissues. Dry eye is moist. I am also playing with. I gotta grab a tissue. I'm sorry. Bobby's gonna say you're out of your mind. So I'm hooked again. The Lion's Den. We're back there. Oh, I'm playing with. Uh, my pages are stuck. 90 Below on 628 at Badley's in Patchogue and 7-4 in Long Beach. And I'm also with La Raza. I don't know where the page went. Wow, this is terrible. Okay, I'm with La Raza in the Bronx. Oh, here, Sunday 6/1 in the Boogie Down. And with that said, that's a full dance card. You also have to watch for the return of 27 East. The return of 27 East. I'm excited. New lineup. It's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Uh, it's almost complete. And we're also going to mix in some fun favorites. Fun, filthy favorites. I do want to thank Strong Island TV for again, I did that. I'm sorry. I want to thank Strong Island TV. Oh, I think we have a few more minutes. Now I can't find my glasses. So we do have a few more minutes. Oh, I didn't tell you the best. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I was just hilarious. I was hilarious. So that sucks. That was my best material. So the, uh the 27 East thing is a long time coming. We're gonna miss the old members, but it's a twist because 'cause we're gonna be playing some of my fun, filthy, originals. So there's that. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I wanna thank Strong Island TV for putting this together, helping me out with this. I suck at all the technological aspect. So, but it's all live. It's what you see is what you get. And, it's the happy hour with Seth, so that works. We will reschedule Jon Blayne and have him for a future date. Sorry about that. I hope he's okay. I sincerely hope he's okay because it's very much not like him to, you know, not show. And make sure you visit the sponsors. Next week, we are working on doing it remote from uh, Katie, uh, Katie Mulligan's, Katie Flanagan, from a wonderful pub restaurant in Baldwin, in beautiful Baldwin. And don't forget the cruise will be the last week of May. And with that said, see the good, be the good, and I will see you guys next Wednesday on the Happy Hour with Seth. Love to all.